Welcome to the front lines of veterinary medicine, where the patients are usually more reasonable than the people holding the leash. We're counting down 55 of the most mind-numbing, logic-defying, and flat-out ridiculous complaints ever filed against veterinarians. From owners demanding cheek liposuction for a hamster to clients suing because their cat lost its soul after a dental cleaning, you won't believe what these doctors endure. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole of human stupidity actually goes. 1. A billionaire sued because a vet failed to activate the patriotism in his bald eagle. He was livid the bird didn't stand at attention during the national anthem at his parties. He accused the clinic of negligence for not prescribing stimulants to make the eagle act more American. When the vet explained it's a wild predator that only cares about fish, the owner claimed the doctor was suppressing the bird's innate love for liberty. Do people seriously think a vet can inject a sense of national pride into a raptor? 2. One owner filed a complaint because the vet refused to give their pet rabbit braces. The person was convinced the rabbit's front teeth were socially awkward and wanted them perfectly aligned for a series of professional portraits they had booked. The vet explained that a rabbit's teeth grow constantly and that straightening them was both impossible and dangerous. The owner's response? A formal letter to the clinic manager accusing the doctor of stifling the rabbit's potential beauty. 3. Imagine being a vet and receiving a 1-star review because you refused to give a golden retriever a nose job. This owner was convinced her dog's snout was slightly crooked, which she claimed was ruining his chances of becoming a dogfluencer on Instagram. She called the clinic's refusal to perform cosmetic surgery discriminatory against high-achieving pets and threatened to report them to the board for emotional distress. 4. There was a guy who filed a written complaint against a vet for lack of transparency because his cat didn't wake up from anesthesia immediately like a character in a cartoon. He expected the cat to pop up, stretch, and start purring the second the surgery ended. Instead, when the cat was naturally groggy and wobbly, he accused the doctor of overdrugging his pet to save on kibble costs during the recovery stay. He actually demanded a discount for every minute the cat spent sleeping past his personal expected wake-up time. 5. Imagine getting a 1-star review because you wouldn't perform an emergency C-section on a plastic toy dinosaur. A mother brought her crying toddler and their pregnant T-Rex into the clinic, demanding the vet deliver the babies that were rattling inside the hollow plastic stomach. The vet, trying to be a good sport, suggested the babies were just broken plastic bits, which triggered a formal complaint from the mother for destroying a child's sense of wonder. She insisted the clinic pay for a brand new toy because the vet's harsh dose of reality ruined her daughter's childhood. 6. You haven't seen true entitlement until you've met the woman who complained that the vet broke her dog by fixing its chronic ear infection. Her logic was that since the dog could finally hear properly, it was now disobedient because it would actually react to noises and run away from her calls. She preferred the dog when it was half-deaf and docile, and she genuinely wanted the vet to undo the healing so the dog would go back to being a quiet couch potato. 7. The most epic complaint came from a tortoise owner who demanded the vet install neon underglow and a parking sensor into the animal's shell. He argued that since he often tripped over the tortoise at night, the vet, as a body engineer, was obligated to drill into the shell and wire in some electronics. When the vet refused to treat a living creature like a custom car, the man called him an enemy of progress and filed a claim for refusal to modernize the animal's living space. 8. One lady filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau because the vet told her that her miniature pig was actually a standard farm hog that was eventually going to weigh 500 pounds. She accused the vet of fat-shaming the pig and ruining the magic of her household. She insisted that if the vet were truly skilled, he would provide a hormone blocker to keep the pig small enough to fit in her designer handbag forever. 9. One woman filed a complaint because the vet told her that her vegan dog was actually sneaking into the neighbor's yard to eat leftover barbecue. The owner was a hardcore lifestyle influencer and felt the vet was attacking her brand by suggesting her dog didn't share her moral values. She accused the clinic of spreading slanderous rumors about her pet's diet and demanded a retraction of the diagnosis. She was so deep in denial, she preferred to believe the vet was a liar rather than admit her golden retriever just really loves ribs. Why is it so hard to accept that dogs are literally born to eat meat? 10. A woman filed a grievance because the vet refused to give her white poodle a QR code tattoo on its belly. She wanted the dog to be a walking billboard so that anyone scanning him would be directed to her personal life coaching website. When the vet explained that tattooing a dog for marketing purposes is animal cruelty and highly illegal, she accused him of obstructing small business growth and digital discrimination. Do some people really see their pets as nothing more than free advertising space? 11. One high-maintenance owner filed a formal grievance because a vet refused to give her pet tarantula a pedicure. She was dead serious, claiming the spider's claws were snagging on her silk pillows and that a professional medical facility should have the tools to trim arachnid feet. She actually wrote a review claiming the clinic only cared about mainstream pets and lacked the sophistication to handle high-end exotic predators. Seriously, how do you even look a vet in the eye and ask for a spider mani-pedi without laughing? 12. A frantic man once rushed his pet rock, yes, an actual stone, into an emergency vet clinic and then filed a massive complaint because the staff refused to treat a life-threatening crack. He spent 40 minutes in the waiting room screaming that his silent companion was hemorrhaging minerals and that the Hippocratic Oath should apply to all entities. When the vet gently suggested a hardware store or some superglue, the man filed a report with the State Board for Medical Negligence. He claimed the vet's cold bedside manner caused him more emotional trauma than the cracked rock itself. 13. A luxury cat owner once lost her mind and filed a complaint because the vet dared to use generic bandages on her Persian cat instead of something that matched the animal's aesthetic. She claimed the neon green wrap made her cat look low-class and demanded a full refund for the life-saving procedure because her social media followers would think she was broke. She told the head vet that her cat's brand was built on elegance, and the bandage was a direct assault on its reputation. Is it just me? Or have we reached a point where people care more about pixels than their pet's actual pulse? 14. One lady filed a complaint against a rural vet because her pet rooster wouldn't stop crowing at 5 in the morning. She didn't want medical advice. She wanted a volume knob or a surgical procedure to mute the bird while keeping its aesthetic appeal for her farmhouse chic backyard. When the vet explained that roosters, by their very nature, make noise, she accused him of being in league with the big poultry industry to keep her awake and stressed. 15. There was a bizarre case where a woman sued a vet for malpractice because her goldfish survived a surgery she didn't want to pay for. She had brought the fish in thinking it was dying and secretly hoped the vet would just say it was too late so she could go buy a new $5 replacement. Instead, the vet performed a quick, successful procedure to remove a pebble the fish had swallowed. The owner was livid, filing a complaint that the vet stole her choice to let the fish go and then had the audacity to charge her for the life-saving work. 16. A snake owner once filed a complaint because the vet told him his python was obese. The guy took it as a personal insult to his parenting skills, claiming the snake wasn't fat, it was just big-scaled and had a heavy bone structure. He demanded a written apology and a refund for the consultation, arguing that a snake cannot be overweight because it doesn't have a stomach. It's just one long tube. He literally argued the physics of biology with a doctor who had a PhD, all because he didn't want to stop feeding his python extra-large rats. 17. Have you ever heard of someone complaining that a vet was too nice to their pet? One owner did exactly that, claiming the vet's playful attitude with her French bulldog made the dog lose respect for her as the alpha. She filed a grievance stating that the vet should have maintained a stern, professional distance so the dog wouldn't think the clinic was a playground. She was convinced that after one happy checkup, her dog started smirking at her at home, and she held the vet responsible for the total collapse of her household hierarchy. 18. One woman was so entitled she filed a complaint because the vet wouldn't babysit her turtle while she went on a 3-week cruise. When the clinic explained they were a hospital, not a resort, she accused them of abandoning a patient in need and threatened to report them for animal neglect. She actually believed that because her turtle had a checkup there once 3 years ago, the clinic was now its legal godparent and obligated to provide free housing. 19. There was a bizarre case where a horse owner complained because the vet refused to install a gold tooth in his stallion. The man wanted his horse to look expensive and elite at local races and believed a gold crown would give the animal a psychological edge and more confidence. When the vet explained it would ruin the horse's bite and cause immense pain, the owner accused the clinic of class warfare against luxury. Have we really reached the point where horses need the same VIP dental services as rappers in a music video? 20. A woman filed a formal grievance because the vet's office was too clean, which she claimed was a direct insult to her pig's natural lifestyle. She argued that the sterile environment was culturally insensitive to swine and demanded the clinic spread a thin layer of organic mud in the exam room to make her pet feel empowered. When the vet refused to turn the surgical suite into a pigsty, she wrote a review accusing the staff of hating nature and causing her pig a cleanliness-induced identity crisis. 21. An owner of a prized show pigeon once filed a formal grievance because the vet disrespected the bird's lineage by calling it a good boy instead of using its full, registered title during the exam. The bird's name was apparently something along the lines of Sir Reginald III of Skyview Manor, and the owner insisted that using informal language lowered the bird's self-esteem before a major competition. She demanded the clinic strike the casual greeting from the official medical record and issue a formal apology to the pigeon in writing. 22. A guy once stormed into a clinic demanding a refund because his pet chameleon was defective and wouldn't turn neon purple to match his new living room aesthetic. He filed a complaint alleging that the vet sold him broken vitamins that had supposedly stripped the reptile of its ability to coordinate with modern home decor. The vet had to explain that chameleons change color based on temperature and mood, not because they want to blend in with a velvet sofa. The man left a scathing review, claiming the vet was uneducated in the art of interior design, and refused to acknowledge the chameleon's stylistic failure. 23. One woman filed a complaint because she was convinced the vet had swapped her goldfish during a routine tank cleaning and water testing. Her evidence: the fish was swimming too fast compared to its usual lethargic pace, and she claimed the new fish had a shifty look in its eyes that the original didn't possess. Even after the vet showed her time-stamped video of the fish never leaving its container, she insisted they had a stunt double fish ready just to trick her. It really makes you wonder at what point protective pet parent crosses the line into full-blown conspiracy theorist. 24. An owner of a pet alligator filed a formal grievance for psychological warfare and intimidation because the vet entered the exam room wearing crocodile skin boots. The owner deadpan claimed his reptile recognized a fallen relative on the doctor's feet and subsequently fell into a deep clinical depression, refusing to eat its favorite snacks. He demanded the clinic pay for an exotic animal therapist and ban all leather products from the building to protect his pet's emotional well-being. 25. Imagine filing a complaint because a vet refused to recharge a robotic toy dog that a client insisted was a real biological miracle. This person brought in a high-end animatronic husky, claiming it had fainted, and became hysterical when the vet pointed out the battery compartment. The owner filed a report with the clinic manager, stating the vet was dismissive of unconventional life forms and lacked the vision to treat a pet that didn't require traditional food or water. Is it a medical emergency if your dog needs a USB-C cable instead of a rabies shot? 26. A woman once complained that the vet's office was discriminatory because they didn't have a private VIP lounge for her emotional support hedgehog. She claimed that seeing dogs and cats in the waiting room caused her hedgehog to retreat into a ball of depression, and she held the clinic responsible for the animal's subsequent grumpiness. She demanded a 50% discount on the consultation because her pet had to endure the trauma of being in the same building as a Labrador. 27. One parrot owner filed a grievance because the vet wouldn't reprogram the bird to stop swearing. The parrot had learned a variety of colorful phrases from a previous owner, and the current owner was convinced there was a nerve the vet could pinch to erase those specific words from the bird's memory. When the vet suggested behavioral training instead of brain surgery, the owner accused the doctor of supporting foul language and being unhelpful to the community's moral standards. 28. Imagine getting a complaint because you refused to perform cheek liposuction on a hamster. The owner was convinced her pet looked too chunky for a high-fashion social media photo shoot and insisted his pouches were just excess facial fat rather than functional food storage. She claimed the vet was promoting unhealthy lifestyle standards among rodents by refusing to make the animal sleek and runway ready. 29. We actually have a record of a client complaining that the vet was too attractive, which supposedly distracted her cat during the physical. She claimed the cat was flirting with the doctor instead of showing its true symptoms, leading to a skewed diagnosis. She demanded a follow-up with the plainest-looking vet on staff to ensure the cat stayed focused on the medical exam. 30. A woman once filed a complaint because the vet refused to give her pet duck a voice coach. She was upset that the duck's quack was too raspy for the TikTok videos she wanted to film and insisted the vet provide a referral to a feathered vocal specialist. When told such a thing didn't exist, she accused the clinic of gatekeeping the entertainment industry and preventing her pet from becoming a viral sensation. 31. One pet owner filed a formal grievance because the vet refused to give their pet hermit crab a shell extension surgery. The client was convinced the crab was self-conscious about its small home and demanded the doctor glue a miniature 3D-printed Victorian mansion onto its back. When the vet explained that hermit crabs naturally switch shells and shouldn't have heavy architecture forced onto them, the owner accused the clinic of stifling his pet's upward mobility. He actually claimed the vet was anti-progress and wanted his crab to live in poverty forever. 32. A woman once complained that the vet's office was unprofessional because they used a generic plastic bowl for her cat's water instead of a crystal glass. She claimed her feline was of royal descent and that drinking from plastic caused the cat to suffer a crisis of dignity. She demanded a refund for the entire checkup, stating that the commoner atmosphere of the clinic had traumatized her pet's refined palate. The vet pointed out the cat was currently eating a moth off the floor, but the owner insisted that was just rebellious performance art. 33. Imagine being a vet and getting a complaint because a client's snake refused to hug them back after a checkup. This owner was convinced the vet had administered a cold-heartedness serum that made the python emotionally distant. She filed a report alleging the clinic had broken the sacred bond between human and reptile. The vet had to explain that pythons are physically incapable of hugging and are mostly just looking for a heat lamp, not a soulmate. Are we really expecting emotional support from animals that don't even have ears? 34. One woman filed a formal grievance against a vet for unauthorized removal of her cat's masculinity during a simple nail trim. She claimed that by clipping the sharp tips of his claws, the doctor had caused the cat to lose his alpha status in the neighborhood, and now the other alley cats were allegedly mocking him through the window. She demanded the clinic pay for black acrylic nail extensions to restore his street cred and repair his shattered ego. 35. There was a bizarre case where a woman complained that the vet's stethoscope was too cold and that it had caused her dog to lose its trust in science. She claimed the brief moment of chilly metal against the dog's fur had triggered a philosophical shift in the animal, making it suspicious of all humans wearing white coats. She demanded the clinic pay for a doggy therapist to restore the pup's faith in the medical establishment. 36. A client once filed a grievance because the vet wouldn't bless her pet iguana. She insisted that since the iguana looked prehistoric, it must have ancestral spirits that needed to be cleared before it could return to her apartment. When the vet suggested he was a doctor, not a priest, she wrote a review claiming the clinic was spiritually bankrupt and hostile to ancient cultures. She even tried to claim the iguana's lack of appetite was due to negative energy left behind by a previous golden retriever in the exam room. 37. One rabbit owner filed a complaint because the vet told her that carrots are actually high in sugar and shouldn't be the main diet. She was livid, claiming the vet was attacking her childhood and trying to cancel Bugs Bunny. She accused the doctor of spreading anti-carrot propaganda and insisted her rabbit was offended by the suggestion of eating more leafy greens. She even demanded a refund for the unsolicited nutritional advice that contradicted her favorite cartoons. 38. A man brought his pet alpaca into a city clinic and then filed a complaint because the doorway wasn't grand enough for the animal's entrance. He claimed the narrow passage made his alpaca feel like a second-class citizen and demanded the clinic remodel its front entrance to accommodate majestic camelids. He wrote a lengthy letter to the board about the architectural discrimination faced by long-necked pets in urban environments. 39. We have a record of a woman complaining that the vet staff smelled too much like dogs. She was there with her pet ferret and claimed that the scent of canines was an act of psychological warfare against her delicate predator. She demanded the entire staff change their scrubs and decontaminate the room before she would allow her ferret to be weighed. When they declined, she filed a complaint for gross negligence of olfactory comfort. 40. A guy once complained that the vet stole his dog's thunder by being too charismatic during the appointment. He claimed that because the vet was funny and engaging, the dog paid more attention to the doctor than to him, the owner. He filed a formal grievance stating that the vet had undermined his authority and created a loyalty rift in his household. He actually asked for a personality-free vet for his next visit to ensure he remained the most interesting person in the room. 41. One woman filed a formal complaint because the vet refused to give her pet turtle a shell lift. She was convinced that the natural aging lines on the tortoise's shell were wrinkles that made the animal look depressed and ancient in her family photos. She demanded the clinic apply medical-grade fillers or sand down the shell to give it a youthful, glossy glow. When the vet explained that the shell is part of the living skeleton and shouldn't be cosmetically altered, she accused the doctor of denying her pet the right to stay young. Since when did we start applying Hollywood beauty standards to reptiles that can live for 100 years? 42. Imagine getting a 1-star review because a vet wouldn't translate what a pet goat was saying. The owner was convinced her goat was a reincarnated philosopher and filed a grievance claiming the vet was withholding vital spiritual information by not using a stethoscope to decode the goat's bleats. She insisted that for the price of a consultation, the vet should have a working knowledge of interspecies linguistics. She actually wrote that the clinic was intellectually lazy for only focusing on physical health instead of the goat's metaphysical messages. Do people really expect a DVM to double as a paranormal translator? 43. A man once filed a massive complaint against an emergency clinic because the waiting room didn't have species-specific TV channels. He was there with his pet iguana and was outraged that the lobby was showing a news broadcast instead of a loop of desert landscapes or National Geographic specials on tropical jungles. He claimed the human-centric media caused his lizard to have a sensory breakdown and demanded a discount for the cultural insensitivity shown to his reptile. He even suggested the clinic should provide tiny VR headsets for cold-blooded patients to keep them zen. 44. One owner filed a complaint because the vet insulted her parenting by suggesting her dog was overweight. She claimed the dog wasn't fat. It was storing energy for a potential famine, and that the vet was projecting human body-shaming standards onto a canine. She demanded a written apology to the dog and a refund for the emotional damage caused by seeing the number on the scale. 45. There was a bizarre case where a woman complained that the vet cured her cat too fast. She had been enjoying the attention she got from her friends while her cat had a minor, treatable limp, and she was furious that a single injection and some rest fixed the issue in 48 hours. She filed a complaint alleging the vet robbed her of her caregiving journey and demanded a refund because she didn't get to properly bond through the struggle. She actually felt the vet was too efficient and lacked emotional pacing. Are we really at a point where a healthy pet is considered a disappointment? 46. A guy brought in his pet duck and then filed a complaint because the vet didn't bow when entering the room. He claimed that in his specific household culture, the duck was a deity, and the vet's casual, "Hey there, buddy," was a sacrilegious insult to a feathered god. He demanded a formal written apology to the duck and a 20% blasphemy discount on the bill. The vet pointed out that the deity was currently trying to eat a discarded cotton ball, but the owner insisted that was just a divine test of the clinic's cleanliness. 47. We actually have a record of a client complaining that the vet's office was too quiet, which apparently made their parrot uncomfortable. The owner claimed that the lack of background music or vibrant energy caused the bird to lose its appetite, and she demanded the clinic pay for a gourmet birdseed basket as compensation for the psychological trauma. She even suggested the receptionist should sing to the animals to keep the vibe right. 48. A guy brought his snake in for a checkup and then filed a complaint because the vet didn't look enough like a snake expert. His evidence? The vet wasn't wearing an Indiana Jones-style hat or a vest with 20 pockets. He claimed the lack of appropriate costume made him doubt the medical advice and demanded a refund for the unauthentic experience. He literally wrote that he felt spiritually scammed because the doctor looked like a regular person in a white coat instead of a TV adventurer. 49. An owner of a pet rat filed a grievance because the vet handled the rat with too much authority. She felt that the doctor's firm, professional grip during an exam was toxic masculinity, and that the rat should have been negotiated with rather than held still. She demanded the vet take a course in gentle pet consent, and claimed her rat was now wary of the patriarchy. The vet was just trying to keep the rat from falling off the table, but apparently, safety is now a microaggression. 50. A woman once filed a complaint because the vet wouldn't sign a prenuptial agreement on behalf of her two French bulldogs who were getting married in a backyard ceremony. She wanted the vet to certify that both dogs were in prime reproductive health and that neither was marrying for the other's toys. When the vet refused to sign a legal document for a fake dog wedding, she accused the clinic of hating love and obstructing the happiness of two pure souls. Should vets really be getting involved in the legalities of canine matrimony? 51. There was a bizarre case where a goat owner complained that the vet stole the goat's personality by giving it a much-needed hoof trimming. The owner claimed that the goat's clacking sound on the barn floor was its signature rhythm, and that the silent, healthy walk it now had made it unrecognizable to the other farm animals. She demanded the vet find a way to make the hooves loud again without compromising the goat's health, calling the professional grooming an assault on the animal's identity. 52. A woman accused a clinic of stealing her cat's soul and voice during a routine dental cleaning. She claimed that before the procedure, her Siamese cat meowed in a refined operatic soprano, but after the anesthesia, it sounded like a chain smoker with a sore throat. She filed a complaint alleging the anesthesiologist intentionally damaged the cat's vocal cords to make it less annoying for the staff. The cat was actually just a bit irritated from the breathing tube, but the owner demanded a full refund for the loss of her pet's unique musical talent. Since when did veterinary clinics become talent agencies for feline singers? 53. One guy submitted a massive report to the state board because a vet refused to certify that his dog was a political activist. The owner was convinced the dog only barked at specific German car brands because of its deeply held anti-corporate beliefs, and wanted a medical note to excuse the noise to his neighbors. When the vet suggested the dog just needed a trainer and not a manifesto, the man accused the doctor of suppressing his pet's freedom of speech and being in league with Big Auto. Honestly, do people think dogs are out here checking car emblems before they decide to go into a barking fit? 54. A rabbit owner filed a complaint because the vet ruined her brand by revealing her pet's actual gender. She had spent 2 years building a massive Instagram following for her princess rabbit, dressing it in pink tutus and floral crowns, only for the vet to point out it was very clearly a male during a checkup. She blamed the clinic for unprofessional bluntness and demanded compensation for the thousands of followers she claimed would now view her as a fraud. She actually expected the vet to lie to her just to keep her social media aesthetic intact. 55. The most mind-boggling complaint came from a woman whose cat simply took a nap during the exam. She accused the vet of using secret paralyzing gases or hypnosis because her cat was never this calm at home and must have been drugged without her consent. She actually called the police to the exam room, claiming the vet had swapped her high-energy cat for a broken, lazy-body double while she wasn't looking. She demanded an immediate DNA test to prove the sleeping cat was actually hers, and not a tranquilized plant. Who knew that a cat sleeping, something they do for 16 hours a day, could be considered a criminal conspiracy? That wraps up 55 stories proving that common sense is an endangered species. These vets deserve a medal for staying sane while dealing with offended tarantulas and atheist cats. It's clear the person at the end of the leash is usually the one who needs a medical evaluation. Should being this stupid officially disqualify you from owning a pet? Let us know in the comments, hit like, and subscribe.